Hello, Jeff. How are
Hey,
you?
I'm fine, Mauricio. Very good.
So let me introduce you to the audience. Jeff is the president of Apimondia. You have 40 years of experience working in more than 15 countries, and you've been part of USDA and the European Commission for the global pollinator. So you have a great experience. Too long to mention it all. And so you're very welcome to be with us, and I'm very happy to having you with us. And let's start from Apimondia and the purpose of Apimondia. Apimondia has been an active player since the 1895. Is that correct? So
Yeah, we're a
quite a
very
long
old
time.
organization. Yeah.
Quite a long time. It's almost 131 year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And can you describe me the purpose of the activity of Apimondia?
Sure. So we're a federation. We're a federation of other beekeeping organizations from all across the globe. But I'll tell you just very briefly, we started in Europe, and we started as an idea at a World's Fair in Belgium to bring together beekeepers from the different countries, France, England, Germany, whatever. And out of that grew Apimondia. And the idea was to get together to share information and to talk about the good and the bad of beekeeping and what we need, what we saw as threats and future. And we bring scientists and beekeepers together at a congress every 2 years to discuss issues around beekeeping. And so we are a very old organization. And again, our main focus has been this congress, but recently we've realized we have a broader mission, and that is to tell the world about the wonders of bees and beekeeping. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. The wonder of bees. I think, it's a very important activity to be aware of how we can still be wondered by something. And, to come across with bees for me was a real surprise. And it gets me wonder because, it's incredible of how we don't see these little animals. They are billions, but they are pretty invisible for most of us. And they are so precious for humans' life.
Yeah. So there's this huge link between the plant world and the animal world, all the pollinators. And honeybees are one part of that, but they form this link where they act to pollinate all the plants, which basically all life depends on Earth. So I mean, it's an incredible link, and like you say, it goes unnoticed by a lot of people. But if you go to the grocery store and you enjoy fruits, nuts, and vegetables, you're a pollinator made that link. So yeah, they're underappreciated in many ways, but they also do people do associate bees with a healthy environment. So that's a message we need to get better at getting out.
Yeah, there is a very interesting concept about the UN, which is One Health, in
Yep.
which they have this domain in which they merge together human health, animal health, and environmental health. And I believe that, bees are definitely very iconic talking about that.
Bees can be the poster child of that because you wouldn't want to make it human centric, and it's hard to associate with soil is important, plants are important, but bees are that intermediary that link it all together. So I think they're a wonderful poster child for One Health and for a good environment. Yeah,
Yeah, and for the future of next generations.
yeah,
But the generations to come, they will benefit, I hope, of a different awareness, a much better conscious that we I mean, with our goodwill, we can create, and so we are stepping in the 131st year of Apimondia.
right.
And I'm just wondering, how is the vision of the future? Let's assume it that Apimondia will be a player for the next 100 years. We're going to face so many transformations, so many changes. So, How is the vision of Apimondia? What Apimondia will become in the next years?
So in the past, we've worked for the beekeepers. We've worked for the group of beekeepers managing honeybees, the honeybees. And I see us continuing that work, continuing to support bees and beekeeping, but becoming more active in the political sphere and in promoting a clean environment by partnering with other like-minded organizations, people trying to protect the environment, uh, people in the food service industry, all these things we can work better together. And I think we want to raise Apimondia's voice and be more active politically and even legislatively, things like reducing pesticide use, things like that, so that we need to grow our voice a bit in that realm to become more relevant, not just about the keeping of honeybees, but about the role that they play in the environment and our food supply.
So, if I understood correctly, you already have quite a wide community. We esteem that your community is about of 5 million members, with an ecosystem that can be even wider. Maybe let's assume that for any member there are 4 people that are involved, and so it's 20 million people. It's a nation. It's a big population, and go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we have this big worldwide membership, but they're all directly involved in bees, probably some way or the other. And what I want to do is connect them with the broader public who has an interest in bees and we can use that combined voice to make better change. So yeah, we do have a worldwide reach and we have a worldwide voice, but we need to unify that voice and also engage the public a bit more. And I think that's where partnering with you on this film series is important. People can really see the visual impact of bees in people's lives. I think that's going to be a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna talk about that. But
I know.
before, tell me one thing. You have gray hair. I don't know if you have a grandkid, but if you had it, what would you say shortly, to him?
So I have 5 grandchildren actually. Yeah. um, what would I say to my grandkids? Just that um, the environment matters. We as humans have transformed the earth, in just what 200 to 500 years that we've been really industrializing and stuff, and we need to make sure we protect the environment because this is where we live. It's like fouling our own nest, so we have to be careful. And bees are a very good sentinel of the environment. They're a very good bioindicator, if you will. A healthy bee and a healthy pollinator, a healthy group of pollinators indicates you've got a healthy environment. So I guess I want to link the healthy bees and healthy pollinators to the environment and the role that they play in sustaining life on the planet.
Very good. So I understood that you want to wide up the audience of Apimondia. You want to spread the voice to, let's say, what it is called the general audience, but particularly, I would say, to the young generations. And in that sense, we are, partnering in a very challenging project. It's called Buzz of Transformation because we are facing many changes, and we hope that we can use this moment to transform this challenge in a positive transformation to create a little bit, of a better world. And so we're making a global project, and
Yeah.
this global project is called Buzz of Transformation, and it's going to be 24 stories about ordinary people making the extraordinary with the help of this little friend, the
Yeah.
the the, the bees, and we're going to cross the world to witnesses how real people are doing that. So we will have at the end 24 stories of real people doing good thing with the help of the bees. So my question now is, who is going to benefit, in your view and in the view of Apimondia, of these 24 wonderful stories?
I I think well, the beekeepers will benefit somewhat by the exposure. The fact that they'll be recognized by their governments or their regional areas as being important in the economy of the world, even at a small scale. That those small scale farmers and beekeepers and stuff can have a big impact. But I think more broadly, the impact on the public in raising awareness, I think, is really what the benefit of this will be, in just showing these wonderful stories from across the globe and how this tiny insect is helping them better their lives and better the environment. I think that message to the broader audience is the key for this thing that we're engaging upon.
Yeah, I aim also to be able to be a source of inspiration for practical things. So let's say that we are going to have 24 way of making some good things happen with the help of the bees. So I believe that these are going to be some inspirations also for millions of people that can get some ideas out of that and put it in practice.
Well, so one, I mean, we're starting in Africa with some stories from Africa, and the potential in Africa for things like increased honey production are huge. And I was in Kenya, and they estimate that they can produce 100 million metric tons. They consume 40 million metric tons in Kenya, and they only produce 20 million. So they're importing 20 million tons of honey. It's like it's crazy when they have the potential. So I think these stories will help show people that bees can be a viable income source, and they not only do they better the environment, but they can be very valuable within a country or within a region for economic growth and bringing
Yeah,
people out of poverty, which I think is
yeah,
an important message.
yeah. And let me underline one thing, if I can. We are talking about a natural capital of tremendous value,
Yeah,
So we know that the general value of pollinators is about 577 billions, and we produce. I mean, they produce 1.6 tons of honey, per year, and there are 20,000 species of different bees and insects that are
right.
doing this work, and there are more than 100 millions of hives all around the world, and I don't know how many beekeepers, but behind that there is also one other little, which is not so little, but one other thing, which is that as in front of this incredible impact, economical impact, we have millions of microeconomy, and this microeconomy can be driver of this now of an incredible development in especially in the rural countries, in the rural place, but not only, So the value of what we are doing is not simply cultural; it's very practical and is very economical.
Yeah. So the value of the pollination that they do, all pollinators do, is much bigger than the honey production. It's much bigger than honey and wax production. But governments need to recognize that's our food supply. But you're right on the honey and beeswax production. Both of those are stable at room temperature. They don't require refrigeration. They don't require anything special. You can keep bees in all areas of the world and get your product to market. And like you say, these microeconomies or micro things, it can really be transformative in people's lives in rural areas. And I think that's a strong message that will come out of this, is showing those stories of how beekeeping, even on a small scale, can help improve people's lives and bring them out of poverty. Yeah,
Apimondia is a no-profit,
yeah,
and with Apimondia, we are creating a benefit project, and we will start in Tanzania, as
yeah.
you were mentioning. And in Tanzania, we will study of this lady that, with her work and with the work of the bees, is helping her community to get better. because climate change is creating a big threat in Tanzania. And the cattle, which is the main source of surviving for the Maasai community, is at risk. And therefore, women now has to change a little bit their role and become of real help economically talking for the community. So the story we will tell is the story of this Maasai lady that had started a beekeeping activity, and with this activity is helping the family to live, to survive, to provide food on table, which is
Yeah.
a simple story, but behind that there is a world, the world that we were mentioning, this micro economy that has facing a social change, that is facing some important environmental threats. And all of these will be part of that story, as much as in the other stories we will find very many interesting insight about global challenges, social life, and I hope source of inspiration, as we said, for the future.
Yeah. No,
So,
so you see my Maasai. I was given this by a Maasai beekeeper, this robe in the background. And no, that's a wonderful story to start with. And as you stated, because some of this change is driven by climate change. They've always been herders. The Maasai have been herders for thousands of years. And yet now they're finding their pasture is not enough to maintain the livestock that they need. And they're turning to beekeeping. And it's a beautiful story of resilience, a beautiful story of how adaptive they are as a group, but also the importance that bees can play in helping their individual situation. So I think we're going to tell that story, and then we're going to continue to tell beautiful other small stories around the globe.
yeah, and to do so, we are partnering with the collective of directors. Actually, Buzz of Transformation is a collective opera. So this is going to be the first little segment, and we will screen it during the World Bee Day in Addis Ababa, together with the event that FAO will organize.
Yeah.
And but for doing so, now we are launching a crowdfunding because we are independent filmmaker. We
Right.
don't want, in this moment, at least, to engage with the big media, and we want to maintain our voice, the most possible independent. So we decided to launch a crowdfunding, and I know that Apimondia is helping us.
Yeah.
So I ask you why the people should contribute to this crowdfunding, and who is the crowd that should contribute to that?
I think I think every person across the globe who enjoys a rich diet or wants to help the environment. I mean, that's part of as Apimondia, we've always been thinking about beekeepers, but we need to make this connection to the general public. And I think the general public should look at bees and beekeeping and these great stories that we're going to tell and want to get behind it. So I think this bottom up approach is totally appropriate. And I'm with you in that we as Apimondia, we don't have big corporate sponsors. We're nonprofit. We're not supported by big companies and stuff. We're supported by our members. And so this crowdfunding idea for the movies and stuff is great in that we get a groundswell of interest and enthusiasm about the project and the bees and the role they play in people's lives. Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. So just to finish, to go to the conclusion, how can we drive? How can we drive this transformation for the better?
Hmm. Yeah. Again, I think getting people enthusiastic about nature. I'm looking for my phone now. We spend far too much time on these devices, and
Don't tell me.
bees and beekeeping is a very zen. It's a very zen thing. When you go to work a beehive, you can't be multitasking and stuff. You're very focused, and the bees help you get there. They help you mentally to get in a different area. So I think they're beautiful in the beekeeping sector, but also just I think the general public associates bees and pollinators with a healthy environment, and so we just need to keep driving that message home that yes, bees play an important role in our food supply. bees are important for the environment, and we need to support bees and beekeepers. So,
So to do so, please donate and go
yeah,
to GoFundMe. GoFundMe is a very popular platform,
yeah.
and be with us, be with us because we want to transform for the better this world, and we need your help.
So many people are concerned about the environment, and this is a small thing that they can do. They can contribute every small amount just builds and grows the enthusiasm for this project. So even giving a small amount can make a big difference collectively. So I think we work together, just like the bee. The bees are this 40,000 individuals in a hive, and they work together collectively. They do great things. The same thing with this crowdfunding.
Exactly.
If we get many people working together, we have a great project.
So
Yep.
let's say that Apimondia is a big hive.
Yeah, we're a big global. They call it. Oh yeah, yeah. Anyway, we're a super organism. We spread all across the globe. We need to tap into that super organism and get donations coming in from all over to support the activities of both Apimondia, the film, and the message that we'll bring. Most importantly, the message that we'll bring about the environment and the role that bees play in it. Yeah.
Jeff, it was very nice having you here. And I think we are going to catch up in Tanzania very soon.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, very much looking forward to it. Yeah.
All right. So
Okay.
follow us, stay with us because there is much more to come. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
All right. Bye bye. Yeah. Thanks.
Bye bye.